Hello, and welcome to the 2020 Financial Aid and Enrollment Services Orientation Presentation. My name is Pete Buchner, and I am the Financial Aid and Student Services Counselor. We will start today's presentation talking about financial aid, and then afterwards we will move into the Office of Enrollment Services. By the end of this presentation, you will know about the Federal Direct Unsubsidized Loan, the Graduate Plus Loan, your Financial Aid Award Letter, the Master Promissory Note, Student Loan Entrance Counseling, Financial Aid Refunds, and Satisfactory Academic Progress. You will be able to answer questions like, what is the unsubsidized federal direct loan? What does unsubsidized mean? What is the maximum I can borrow per year? What is the interest rate? And is there a processing fee? And I encourage you to pay attention because you never know when there'll be a pop quiz where you can earn bonus points. So unsubsidized loan means that interest accrues while your loan is in deferment. You are not required to make payments while in school. However, interest is accruing while you are in school. The direct unsubsidized loan is the federal student loan offered by the Department of Education to graduate and professional students to help finance their education. The interest rate for 2020-2021 is 4.3%, which is a historic low for the direct unsubsidized loan for graduate students. And the Department of Education charges an origination fee on all student loans. Origination fee is a fancy way of saying processing fee. And the fee for the direct loan for this current year is 1.059%. The maximum amount you are allowed to borrow as a Pharm D student enrolled at Fairleigh Dickinson University is $33,000 per year. These are loans. Loans do need to be repaid. Repayment typically begins 6 months after the student graduates or drops below half time in any semester. And again, because it is an unsubsidized loan, interest accrues while your loans are in deferment. If you are using the federal loan program and the direct unsubsidized loan, this is what your account will look like after it disperses. You can see at the top a copy of your bill. You'll see the tuition and fees. Below that, you'll see your initial deposit of $1,000 that you paid towards the fall 2020 bill or towards your seat in the class, your $500 acceptance fee, as well as your $500 registration fee. Below that, you'll see the FAFSA direct loan. You'll see $16,500 per semester or $33,000 for the year. Below that is your processing fee. So again, the Department of Education, not the university, but the Department of Education charges a origination fee on all federal student loans. This fee is 1.059% for the direct unsubsidized loan, which is $174. So the funding that actually disperses towards your bill or towards your account is $16,326. Once this disperses, you are left with a fall 2020 balance of $3,927 and a spring 2021 balance of $4,927. Now, I know some of us have been on summer break. We haven't been taking courses. So you might be thinking, well, why is there a discrepancy in my fall and spring balances? And the light bulb didn't go off yet. Well, that's because you paid a $1,000 deposit. That $1,000 deposit goes towards your fall bill. So your actual bills for fall and spring are the same. It's the year split in half. However, your balance will be $1,000 less for fall because you made a $1,000 upfront payment for your acceptance fee and registration fee. And that is why you see the discrepancy in your balances for the year. You can satisfy your balance by choosing to pay out of pocket, setting up a payment plan, or borrowing an additional loan through either the Graduate Plus loan or private loan options. The Graduate Plus loan is an extension of the federal student loan program. It's in addition to the direct unsubsidized loan, hence the name Plus. This year for 2020-2021, the interest rate is 5.3%. That is also a historic low for the Graduate Plus loan. The fee is slightly higher than the direct unsubsidized loan at 4.236%. However, and then the maximum is slightly higher as well, where you can borrow up to an additional $42,775 per year through the Graduate Plus loan. You can apply for the Plus loan at www.studentaid.gov. the same website where you submitted your FAFSA application, and the same website that houses all your student loan information. Private loans, options will vary. It is up to you as the student to do research on your private loans. There is not one specific company that we recommend or that we are allowed to recommend for private loan options. We recommend that you do apply for an annual loan from August 2020 to May 2021. This way you only have to do it once at the beginning of the year. You don't have to worry or remember about doing it before the spring semester starts. When determining how much funding you need to request, don't forget about your fees. If you need help deciding how much to borrow, contact me. I can help you determine with the amount that you need plus the fees what you should be requesting. You do not need to request the maximum amount just to use the Graduate Plus loan. You are eligible to request from $1 up to that $42,775 per year. You will be able to see your financial aid award letter on WebAdvisor. Your award letter includes a listing of each individual award that you will receive and contains an estimate of your remaining direct costs. So you'll see if you've submitted your FAFSA on your WebAdvisor financial aid, you'll see the direct unsubsidized loan for $16,500 for the fall 2020 semester. If you have already submitted a Graduate Plus loan and it has been processed and added to your account, you will see that as well. If you were awarded a scholarship, this you will not see on your original award letter, and that is because the scholarships for some reason get added a little later in the fall semester. So when planning for finances, know that if you were a scholarship recipient, that it will be added, and we can take that into consideration when determining final amounts. If you're not sure or if you want to double check and make sure it's being added, you can always reach out to me. But I assure you that if you are a scholarship recipient, it will be added to your account, even if you cannot see it on the original award letter. If you think you applied for financial aid, but you have not received the financial aid award notice from FDU, email me as soon as possible. There's a couple reasons why you might not have received it. It could be that we do not have a social security number on file for you. It could be that you did not list FDU on the FAFSA when you originally filed it, or a slew of different reasons. So reach out to me if you have not received anything so I can look further into this for you and make sure that you are receiving everything that you're eligible for and that you need. Once the loans are added to your account, like I said, you'll be able to view them on WebAdvisor, but you do need to accept or decline the loans. Just submitting your FAFSA does not mean that you accept taking loans. So if you submitted it and you want or need those loans, you need to make sure you log into WebAdvisor and accept them on your account. If you submitted the FAFSA and have decided that you do not want to use any loans, just log in and decline them. So you do need to either accept or decline, otherwise your funding will not disperse. And if you don't decline it, your account will show an action needed when you don't actually need to do anything. So make sure you accept or decline those loans on WebAdvisor, both the direct unsubsidized loan, the Graduate Plus loan, and when scholarships are added, you'll need to accept that award as well. Once you've accepted your award, that's one of the steps for your funding dispersing. The additional steps that you need to take are complete a master promissory note and a student loan entrance counseling. The master promissory note is a promissory note. It's a promise for you that you are acknowledging you're taking out a loan, you're borrowing funding from the Department of Education, and that you're promising to pay it back. This is you basically signing saying, yes, I promise to repay the loan that I am using for my education. You need to complete one for the direct unsubsidized loan. And then if you are using a Graduate Plus loan, you need to complete a separate Graduate Plus loan, a master promissory note, or MPN for short. Then you need to complete your student loan entrance counseling. Whether you're borrowing one loan or both loans, you still need to complete the student loan entrance counseling. And the student loan entrance counseling is exactly what it says. It's a counseling session about your loan, teaching you what a loan is, that you have an interest rate, what are the interest rates, who do I need to make repayments to, when do I start repaying? And obviously, if you have questions after your entrance counseling, you can always reach out to me as your financial aid counselor. But this needs to be completed in order for your funding to disperse from the Department of Education to Fairleigh Dickinson University. WebAdvisor will actually show you what is completed and what is outstanding. So if you see here, you can see that you've completed your FAFSA, you complete required documents. Then this student still needs to complete their direct loan entrance counseling and sign a direct loan master promissory note. So you can click on there and it'll take you to the website to do that. Or you can access the website on your own through www.studentaid.gov. And then when you log in, you would go to complete master promissory note and complete entrance counseling. I have mentioned the financial aid refund a couple or a few times throughout the presentation. I know students always have the question, do I receive a financial aid refund? If I am receiving a refund, is there anything I need to do? When should I expect this refund? Or if I receive a refund and I do not want it, what do I do? So do I receive a refund? Any financial aid that you borrow or are issued that is above your cost of tuition and fees is then refunded back to the student as a financial aid refund. The reason I use quotations is because it does come from your financial aid, which is typically your loan. So it is a loan that does need to be repaid after graduation. It carries an interest rate, the processing fee. So yes, it is a financial aid refund, but remember, it's not a refund in terms of free money. It is coming from your student loan. So if you have borrowed more than your cost or your bill, then yes, you will be receiving a refund. If you're receiving a refund, you do need to set up your electronic direct deposit through WebAdvisor. When we get into the enrollment services section of this presentation, we'll talk a little bit more on the instructions for setting up your direct deposit. The expected disbursement for Pharm D students is August 27th. So you should hopefully have your financial aid refunds within the first week of September. And there should be no reason that you receive a refund if you do not want a refund. Any student that's expected to receive a refund or a financial aid refund for fall 2020, spring 2021, and so on, before the start of the semester, I go through all of the classes, P1, P2, P3, P4. Anyone who's expected to receive a refund, whether it's $1 or $10,000, gets an email from me to confirm whether or not they want that refund. So that's one checkpoint. Two, you need to accept the award on WebAdvisor. So you can either decline it or you can change the amount so that you're not taking more than you need or more than you want. So you should not get a refund if you do not want it. If you do, it will be directly deposited into your bank account. Once that money goes into your bank account, it is your money. You cannot return it back to the university. What you can do is you can make a payment directly to your loan servicer or the holder of your loan to return the money, but it does go on your loan. You do have the processing fee, and then you would pay it back. So you would essentially lose money from the processing fee. So make sure you are aware of what you're borrowing, how much you owe, how much you need, so that you're not put into that position. And finally, satisfactory academic progress. Satisfactory academic progress is a checkpoint put in place by the Department of Education and other private financial institutions lending or granting money to students. And it's a checkpoint to make sure that you are on track to graduate in a timely fashion and with good academic standing. So the Department of Education says that all students must be meeting the satisfactory academic level of their program to continue receiving financial aid, whether it's grants or loans or scholarships. So for our program, good academic standing means that you are at a cumulative GPA of 2.75 or higher, so slightly higher than a B- average. If you stay above that cumulative average, your financial aid is fine and you won't have any issues. When you drop below a 2.75 GPA, your financial aid is in jeopardy, or you're in jeopardy of losing your financial aid eligibility. The other mark is progression. You must be completing at a 75% pace to complete your program on time in order to continue receiving aid. Any student that drops below pace will then be in jeopardy of losing financial aid. If you drop below the GPA measure or checkpoint, if you drop below the progression checkpoint, you will be notified that you are not meeting the SAP standards. You will receive an email from the university. The first semester this happens, you will be given a warning. The second semester in a row, is when then you become in jeopardy of losing your financial aid. You'll have to have a meeting with me. We sit down, go through a financial aid plan. We discuss your progression in the program financially. We have to go over an academic plan, and then you have to meet certain requirements if granted financial aid to keep continuing receiving that. Hopefully, none of you ever find yourself in that position. If you have more questions about satisfactory academic progress, do not hesitate to reach out to me. But as a recap, it's basically a checkpoint to making sure that you're progressing on time to graduate, and you're progressing at a satisfactory academic standard as well to graduate. And now we'll move into the Office of Enrollment Services. The Office of Enrollment Services is separate from the Office of Financial Aid. During our Q&A session, which we'll have on Monday, on August 17th for the first day of your virtual orientation experience, Associate Director of Enrollment Services, Lori Ike, will be joining me, as well as Director of Admissions and Marketing, Tracy Templin. So I'm going to give you the basic information on the Office of Enrollment Services, what they provide to students, why you would need to use their office, and then any specific questions you may have on the follow-up, please take note and make sure you attend the question and answer session on Monday as part of your virtual orientation. So here you can see their contact information. They're located in the lower level of the mansion on the main campus. So for those of you who have been to the School of Pharmacy and Health Sciences, you know that we are set off of the campus about a half a mile down the road. The Office of Enrollment Services is on the main campus, just a half a mile away from us, located on the lower level of the mansion. And while the university remains open, that office is currently working remote. So you may communicate via phone or email at esmadfdu@fdu.edu. And it's right there on the bottom, esmadfdu@fdu.edu. The Office of Enrollment Services has a lot of functions. Their main functions are registration, billing and collection of student accounts, receipt and posting of payments, loan disbursements, and issuance of refunds or financial aid refunds as well to students. They are responsible for notification of e-billing. They're responsible for your transcripts, grades, graduation. So they do, like I said, they cover a lot of different functionalities, a lot of different areas. And these might be different areas that you would need to use them for as a student. The payment dates for the upcoming year are as follows. For fall, the payment due date is September 10th. Intersession within 5 days of registration. Spring, January 15th, and summer, May 15th. And I want to pause real quick and say, hold up, listen now. I do want your attention, because I know it says intersession within 5 days of registration. I want you to know that your winter courses that were pushed from the fall to the winter term, the two courses, there are no additional charges for those courses. So you have your fall tuition bill. You will not have a winter tuition bill. You will not have a winter fees bill. This slide for enrollment services is university-wide, so it speaks to other undergraduate programs, graduate programs. For the PharmD program, you do not have charges for your winter courses. If you do not successfully pass a course in the fall semester and you need to take a remediation course over winter, then yes, there will be charges. But for the courses that were moved due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the virtual environment, there are no additional charges. So I repeat, no additional charges for that winter or intersession term, spring, January 15th. And again, attention, summer, when you complete your IPE or your introductory pharmacy practice experience, there are no additional charges for the summer term either. So that's covered in your flat rate tuition that you pay throughout the year. So again, no additional charges for your IPE over the summer, no additional charges for the winter courses this year, all right? E-bills and payments available through students' WebAdvisor account, and you can access WebAdvisor at webadvisor.fdu.edu. When you log into WebAdvisor, on the left-hand side, you can click on View Account Activity, and then you can go through there, select terms, see your bill, see your account. So for this term, you would go to View Account Activity, and then you have your fall 2020 term, and you can see your charges, you can see payments. So here, your charges, $23,416. This includes your tuition, your fees, and the charge for medical insurance, which we'll talk about in just a minute. You can see your payment of $1,000 because you've made a $1,000 initial deposit towards the program. And then if you're using the financial aid, you'll see, like I mentioned, the $16,326 from the direct unsubsidized loan and your balance. And then you can expand each category here, go through and see more details on the specifics with your fees or with your tuition. And again, this balance includes the student health insurance charge. The bill that I showed you earlier did not. And that's the discrepancy in the amount between the $3,900 and the $6,000. And again, we'll talk about the medical insurance charge in just a minute. Here's a copy of your student statement that you'll receive. So you can see, again, your tuition, your charges, you'll see your estimated financial aid at the bottom, and then what your balance would be. And then it breaks it down a little bit more for you. You have several different payment options. So you can use financial aid in full. You can use partial financial aid. You can do a payment in full, and you can set up an FDU semester deferred payment plan. The deferred payment plan it's 4 monthly installments. So it's breaking down into 4 or 25% payments. They are due that first payment date of September 10th, and then it follows suit October 10th, November 10th, and December 10th. Spring semester would be January 15th, February 15th, March 15th, and April 15th. When you set up the payment plan, there's a 25% down payment. That's your first payment with a $45 per semester fee. You can enroll easily on the web via TouchNet. You can view a list of your charges, your credits, your financial aid financial aid eligibility. Your payments can be set up automatically, or you can pay online at your convenience without scheduling automated payments. So you could do a one-time payment, you could do random payments, or just make sure you pay before your payment plan due date, right? To access TouchNet, which is a third-party payer site, when you log into WebAdvisor, you go to webadvisor.fdu.edu. On the left-hand side, you'll click on Payments, Payment Plans /1098T. When you click on this, it's going to prompt a third-party site. This is TouchNet. And this is the party that processes all payments and handles all those the financial transactions. And you'll enter your information there. So back to the medical insurance. So all students are originally or are initially charged the student health insurance fee. The current fee this year is $2,163, and that is for the entire year. It is a 12-month insurance plan from mid-August to mid-August. It is through United Healthcare. If you already have health insurance coverage, you can waive this charge at www.firststudent.com. You need to go there, you select Fairleigh Dickinson University, waive insurance, and then you'll enter your current health or medical insurance information. And then usually, typically within 24 hours, it'll say whether or not you've been approved for the waiver, and then the charge will be removed from your account. If you will be using the student health insurance, the charge is automatically put on your account, but you are not automatically enrolled in the health insurance plan. So you would also need to go to www.firststudent.com. You'll choose Fairleigh Dickinson University, and then you'll choose enroll in health insurance or enroll insurance, and then you have to enroll. So just because the charge is on your account and just because you paid your bill, it does not mean you're actually enrolled in the health insurance. You still need to go and actually manually enroll yourself through the system. If you have further questions about the health insurance, you can reach out to me. I should be able to answer them. If not, I can definitely point you in the right direction and help you get any questions you might have answered. On WebAdvisor, you can complete your registration for courses besides for the first semester to the PharmD program. You can view your schedules, your grades, billing and financial aid information as mentioned before. You can set up your payment plan, which takes you to TouchNet. When you make a payment through TouchNet Payments, they accept either electronic check, which is your ACH, putting in your checking account and your routing number, or credit and debit cards. If you use the electronic check feature or the ACH feature, there are no additional fees. If you use a credit card or a debit card, there is a fee of 2.85%. That's a processing fee. It is not charged by the university. It is charged by the third-party payer because the credit cards typically charge fees. So if you're planning to use a debit card for any payments, I recommend just putting in the checking information, because then you will not receive that 2.85% fee. Otherwise, again, credit cards and debit cards, when you pay on TouchNet, it does charge a fee. This is what your WebAdvisor looks like when you log in. So you can see to the left under financial aid or financial information, you can view your account activity, which we talked about, seeing your bill. You can do payment plans, 1098T. So this is where you would set up your payment plan. You would make a one-time payment. It is also where you'll set up your e-refund direct deposit. You can access your financial aid. So financial aid self-service is where you're able to accept or decline your loans. It's also where you will see that checklist of items that you need to complete or that you may have already completed, like your master promissory note, your loan entrance counseling, registration. So when you get ready to register, you can search for sections prior to registration. You can register right through WebAdvisor. You have access to your academic profile, your transcript, your degree audit. And then if you needed to grant rights to anybody else, your graduate and graduate doctoral students, you should be owning all of your own material, your finances, your academics. But I do know that sometimes there's parents, guardians that are still involved in the process. So if you wanted to give them access to certain pieces of your WebAdvisor, you can do that right here through parent, guardian, other. And then you can decide what kind of access you do or do not give them. Attached with the Office of Enrollment Services, you have the Office of Records. This is their information. Office of Records handles enrollment verifications, transcripts. Typically, your enrollment verification happens at the beginning of the semester. It's updated through the National Student Clearinghouse. So if you have any student loans prior to entering the Form D program, they should automatically go into deferment on your behalf. If you do not want them in deferment, you should contact your servicer. Or if you want them in deferment and your servicer is telling you that you need to repay, let me know and we can see why it didn't update and send an update to them. All right. For the electronic refunds, in order to provide students with efficient service and support, the Office of Enrollment Services requires students who expect to receive a refund as a result of any overpayment from financial aid or some other means of payment to enroll in the e-refund service through WebAdvisor. So when you go to WebAdvisor, you'll click again on that payments, payment plans, 1098T. And typically the first time you click on it, it'll automatically prompt you to refund method selection. It'll say right here, you haven't yet chosen a preferred refund delivery method. Let us know how you would like to receive your refunds. Click choose your refund delivery method to get started. This will pop up even if you're not expected to receive a refund, because maybe next semester or a year from now you will. So it automatically pops up. You can bypass it if you know you're not receiving a refund, but I encourage you to fill it out just in case. You never know when something might be coming back to you. When you click on that, select your refund delivery method. You'll click on direct deposit, you'll go to select, and then you'll enter your information, your banking information. And this way your financial aid refund or any other type of refund for any means would go directly into your account. It processes it faster. It doesn't have to handle with the mail, get lost, updated addresses, and it's typically more secure since it's going right into your account. Some important information to know about your e-refunds. You must make sure that this information is accurate. If there's any discrepancy between this and your banking information, your refund will not be processed. It'll sit on your account as a credit. And I know that when students are waiting for that, usually they need it. So you want to make sure that this is all done so that you get your refund in a timely fashion with that first disbursement in August 27th. So you have to make sure that your student home address or local address, if you're an international student, is updated. Your FDU student email address and your phone number. All of this information needs to be accurate in order for your refund to process correctly. All right. I know it's a lot of information, short amount of time, but the great thing about a video is that you could hit stop, when you get tired of hearing me, but you can also go back and listen to things that you wanted more information on or to rehear one more time. Again, I encourage you to attend the Q&A session on Monday for the financial aid and enrollment services. As I mentioned, I will be joined by Lori Ike, Associate Director of Office of Enrollment Services, as well as Tracy Templin, Director of Admissions and Marketing, and we'll be there to answer any kind of questions that you may have. I'm really excited to see you all again in person and virtually. I'm excited to welcome you to the FDU community, and I hope you're all excited for the start of the semester and your virtual orientation experience next week.